Oh, good morning, my friends. Good morning, good morning. Who did I miss at the pre-party? I saw my friend Aggie. Good morning, DS. Pink Butterfly, hello. Hello, Samantha from Knoxville, Tennessee. How is the weather in Knoxville, Tennessee? I see a lot of people in here talking about the weather. Hello, Retro Girl. Tell you what, I don't have what you call the gift of sleep. I don't have a lot of gifts, to be quite honest. But I'm just not a heavy sleeper. But with these cooler mornings, whoo, it's hard to peel my fat ass out of bed, let me tell you. Hello, Judy. YouTuber. Hello, Melinda Lewis. Messy Jessie, Joanne. If I missed you, I apologize. I will catch you during the show. Retro said it's raining in Washington. Woo! Carly said it's 39 degrees. Good morning, Dolores. Tracy said it's gorgeous in Florida. It's, excuse me. Good morning, Sherry. I was just telling my husband this morning, I said, we're at the time of year where you have wardrobe changes. You know, you start out dressing for cooler weather, and then by noon, you're back in shorts. Because I think it's going to be 85 here today. It's just crazy. DT said, you were dead to the world, Brooks. You better believe it. Diana said, chilly in New Jersey. Yep. It's fall, y'all. We don't really have in Oklahoma like a pretty fall. You know, you see these pictures of the leaves turning and all that stuff. It just goes from hot to cold. It's like, where's the changing leaves and everything? That's just how it goes. So I missed you guys yesterday. I had good intentions of doing a show later in the afternoon. As you know, we had a lot of appointments yesterday morning. And, well, the day just got away from us, for sure. But we had a great members live on Sunday morning. If you missed it, go back and catch it. I see that Amy in Boston got her membership back. Hello, Pebbles. Rexy said, just here for a few, she's visiting Tennessee, and she said it's cold there. Where are you at in Tennessee, Rexy? You going to do some investigating? Hi, Joy. Well, I tell you who's been doing some investigating, if that's what you want to call it, is the old meteor manager, as Candace calls him. The media manager. Hello, Jules. Jules is back. Now, as we know, next week there's supposed to be a hearing regarding the boys. The boys were taken by the state of Tennessee in July of 2021. So it has been well over 2 years since they have been with the state and away from their parents. Obviously, there was an old script meeting with the meteor manager because he's turning up the heat. Oh, yes, he is. Somebody has really lit a fire under him. Look at some of these posts. He said, now this is on the Find Summer Wells page, which does everything but find Summer Wells. If it wasn't for the spelling, I would assume Dawn is writing a lot of these. He says, it's time to bring the boys home. It is insanity to think we all can focus on bringing Summer home or ever getting to see her when the boys are being used as pawns by a system out of control. Okay. Timmy, Summer is missing. You see, there is a massive police investigation going on. Hawkins County, FBI, TBI, there's multiple agencies involved. But he is once again acting like Summer doesn't matter. Listen to this wording again. It's time to bring the boys home. It is insanity to think we all can focus on bringing Summer home or ever getting to see her when the boys are being used as pawns by a system out of control. In the northeast corner of Tennessee, we have one of the best school systems, support groups, the boys' friends, the boys' church, the boys' family that shared in this horrible, traumatic event of their sister, daughter, niece. Whose niece? Grandchild? Candace don't give a shit. Candace got the hell out of Dodge. He goes on to say tragic disappearance. That we can agree on. Summer Wells deserves to have her family together, helping each other sort this case. The Wells do not need a second war front distraction that is built on totally outdated data. Separating the boys is a dead-end fiasco. This is one of the craziest posts I've ever seen this man make. He posted this on the Find Summer Wells page. We want our boys in the Kingsport City school system. Don Wells, father of Summer Moon Utah Wells. Don doesn't get a say. Don doesn't get a say. Last we heard, him and Candace, and I'm going to throw Candace in there too because she was home the day Summer disappeared, are not cooperating with the authorities. If they can't even cooperate in bringing Summer home, how can they trust them with their sons? It is insanity. It is absolute insanity. Whew. Let's take a second and welcome our neighbor. Say hi all around. Green Goblin said, Brooks, delete that post now. Green Goblin, it's on the Find Summer Wells page. It is a public page. Now, it is my opinion that the boys need stability and security. Now, imagine when they see Tim's crazy posts or their father saying they've been kidnapped. Imagine. There is a gag order in place. We know that Don does not respect his son's privacy. We know that. But I would think the gag order should also be respected by the media manager. Don't you think? Again, we know Don has zero respect for his son's privacy. He blames YouTube, but he brings it all to YouTube. Crazy. Absolutely crazy. Green Goblin, I don't know what you're trolling for, but that's nuts. Calm down. You're not going to have much fun around here pulling crap like that. Good morning, Smiley. How are you? All right, this could be part of what settled Timmy off. And by the way, I think this is amazing that Bob G. Wayward Spirits did this. I think it is wonderful that he called the powers that be about what Don and Tim are doing. Listen to this.
Friday. Our office is closed during all state holidays. If you need to report child abuse or neglect, please call our abuse hotline at 1-877-237-0004. If you know your party's name, you may press the start key for an employee directory. Press 0 to speak with an operator.
Wait while I transfer your call.
Department of Children's Services. How can I help you?
Yes, my name is Robert Green, and I have a concern that I would like to voice with you guys. There's a man named Donald Wells, and he has a daughter missing named Summer Wells. And anyways, he's going on YouTube and telling people that Children's Services kidnapped all of his children. And I think that's very wrong of him to do something like that, because I realize he had 3 other children taken away after Summer went missing. And also he has this, what he calls a media manager named Tim Mullen, who is also saying that you guys profit off of these children that you take away from their parents, especially if they are adopted to someone. And I just wanted to bring you guys' attention to that. And I'm sure I'm not the first person that called, and I probably won't be the last one.
Yeah, we're aware of it.
You're aware of it then, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, just
his
wanted
children
to...
are in good care.
Okay, she said they're in good care, and yeah, we're aware of it. Bob don't play. Good job, Bob. If one of the mods could please put Bob's link in here. He has a lot of really good content on his channel. Good morning, ICU. Let's listen to that again. Okay, this is just the woman that answered the phone. They're well aware of what Dawn and Meteor Man are spouting. This is amazing work, Bob.
Friday. Our office is closed during all state holidays. If you need to report child abuse or neglect, please call our abuse hotline at 1-877-237-0004. If you know your party's name, you may press the star key for an employee directory. Press 0 to speak with an operator. Wait while I transfer your call. Tennessee Department of Children's Services. How can I help you?
Yes, my name is Robert Green, and I have a concern that I would like to voice with you guys. There's a man named Donald Wells, and he has a daughter missing named Summer Wells. And anyways, he's going on YouTube and telling people that Children's Services kidnapped all of his children. And I think that's very wrong of him to do something like that, because I realize he had 3 other children taken away after Summer went missing. And also he has this, what he calls a media manager named Tim Mullen, who is also saying that you guys profit off of these children that you take away from their parents, especially if they are adopted to someone. And I just wanted to bring you guys' attention to that. And I'm sure I'm not the first person that called, and I probably won't be the last one.
Yeah, we're aware of it.
You're aware of it then, okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Okay, just
his
wanted
children
to...
are in good care.
Okay, just wanted to bring it to you guys' attention. Thank you very much. You have a good day.
You too.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Woo! Woo! Rapper said this is triggering. And that's one thing I have a trigger warning at the beginning of the show. We know that on this channel, we very rarely have good news. And I think what Tim Mullen is doing on the very public Facebook page is horrible. Again, it is just my opinion, and I think many of you will agree that the boys need stability and security. They are probably an anxious mess every time they see this stuff. According to Dawn and Candace, they have said they don't want to go back. They kind of like having lights to read by, a warm bed, knowing that there's going to be dinner on the table every night, someone to do their homework with them. Dawn said that one of the boys said that they sound like jerk-offs on YouTube, but they continue doing it. They just continue doing it. You don't live in a house that's a damn fire hazard. Absolutely insane. Now, this I meant to share last week, and I'm going to put the link up here in a second. This was posted on Hawkins County Facebook page. It says, huge congratulations to the citizens of Hawkins County for coming down to the county commission meeting last night, standing room only. You made a difference. Now we must keep an eye on our elected politicians. Yes, they do. We know there's been an issue with a judge that was over CPS, and that has caused a big, big backlog. As we have now seen, they are obviously not looking out for our best interest. Freedom and way of life. Stay vigilant. Good for them. For, opening their eyes and realizing what's going on. Then here comes our girl ICU for the win. Oh, that's the wrong one. ICU in the comments says, I do wish all of these good people in Hawkins County would stand up for one of your own, Summer Moon Utah Wells. Her parents might not be from there, but Summer sure is. Mr. Dan Armstrong needs to stand up for and defend Summer. She has rights too, and she's one of your own. In my opinion, a push for charges will only happen if her body is found. I agree, ICU. This is not fair for Summer. A crime has been committed. The people responsible for her safety and well-being can't produce her whereabouts. FBI card team said there's no evidence of an abduction. Whew. You go, ICU. That was absolutely amazing. Now, I didn't look at the rest of the comments to see if anybody bit back, but what can you say to that? What can you say to that? Candace had a major announcement for us over the last few days. This is on the Can channel, or as we call her, Can't. She said, just so everyone knows, Donnie Wells told me that he will not be doing any lives with any dumbass YouTubers for any reason. At all. He is done. He is done with the YouTubers and their two-faced lies. Anyone going to hold their breath for Donnie to not be on YouTube anymore? Bueller? I have a feeling he'll be back in a couple of days. Any dumbass YouTubers. He's the dumbass. Muscle says, I guess that includes you, Candace. Exactly. Maybe it's just me. But when Can't calls someone a dumbass, that's kind of a kick in your self-esteem. That's coming from Can't. All right? That's coming from Can't. Here's a little reminder of what her former girlfriend, Kathy, told us about Can't and how, smart she is.
I actually took her to her psychiatric evaluation when they first ordered it, and it was in Knoxville. And at that time, she really hadn't driven on the interstate. She hadn't driven very far, so she was really nervous. So I went with her, and really, she didn't even know how to work her GPS. So we get to the doctor's office. I sit down in the chair, and the first thing that she does is sit down on the floor and grabs the Legos and starts playing with Legos. When the doctor came from the back, she opened the door, and she looked at me and she said, Candace. And I turned and looked at Candace, and I could see shock, actually, in the doctor's face, because she, I think, was looking at me to be Candace, sitting in a chair, waiting to be seen, and then she looks over there, and Candace is sitting on the floor, playing with Legos. Like a child, yes. feel the Lego thing was legit or a ploy to seem off. Okay, no, it wasn't a ploy. That's who she is. That's who she is. That's the level she's on. And, you know, she has never ordered anything offline. She's never written a check. That's why I had to fill out all the papers for her, because she don't know how to do any of that. So, you know, and that's probably one reason, you know, she don't want to step away from Don, because, you know, he handles it all for her. No matter what it is, he handles it all.
Sitting in the floor playing with Legos at her psych evaluation. You can't tell me Can't doesn't know what she's doing. No. She's trying to play cray-cray is what she's doing. Yep, Smiley took the words out of my mouth. Dick Dollar said it's just an act. It's just an act. And there's Kathy, who was ordering camping supplies on Can's Amazon wish list for them to go camping, spend all kinds of time together, which still blows my mind. You have 3 boys in foster care. You have a daughter missing. You're scared of bears and snakes. Scared of bears and snakes. But you go camping with Kathy. Well, you're not in a mall parking lot. You would be out in the woods. You'd be out in the woods. She's like, she don't know how to write a check. Dawn does everything for her. Gotta be kidding me. She's deceptive. She's manipulative. Again, I believe they've been having another script meeting, and that is what has put the burr in Tim's britches. We know Can't knows what's going on. These are her own words.
But I'm letting you know how I feel about the whole script.
Right.
But I'm letting you know how I feel about the whole script. Cotton Candy said she knows how to use Cash App. Damn, she sure does. Cash App and calling the police on Dawn. She's 5-bar Candace. She's got a signal that's better than NASA. Getting help for her daughter? No signal. Not going to do it. So obviously, Tim doesn't quite understand what is truly going on here and how important this case is and how many people are involved. Let's hear from Pruitt. He's not my favorite person, but he says this has definitely taken a toll on him, his department, and all the other agencies. Let's see. Hang on. I'll come back to that. I'm getting stuff out of order.
Well, today, for the first time, we are learning the lead investigator in the Summer Wells case is speaking out. The pressure has been immense on the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office to figure out what happened to a little girl who reported missing back in June.
Ansley Daniel has been following this case closely. She has an update. Ansley?
Josh and Sarah, there was frustration, some anger, and the presence of a heavy burden when I sat down with the detective John Pruitt with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office. He's led this investigation into Summer's disappearance. He told me that as difficult as this case is to work, he is nowhere near giving up.
It is a lot to shoulder, it's a lot to burden. We have a missing child that we haven't found yet.
Okay, that's the lead detective. We have a missing child that we haven't found yet. Then we go back to what Dum Dum put up. He said it's time to bring the boys home. It is insanity to think that we can all focus on bringing Summer home or even getting to see her when the boys are being used as pawns. The boys are safe. They're in a loving home. They're playing sports. They're eating nutritional meals. Summer is missing. What part of that is Meteor Manager not understanding?
Almost 10 months and so much heartache. And investigators aren't immune from that hurt. The question of what happened to Summer Wells still has no answer.
There haven't been very many cases like this. I have never worked a missing child case with all these different entities and agencies involved.
The lead investigator on the case says his days are devoted to finding her.
My day, I check tip line and voicemail when I first get here. I do phone calls and follow-ups on any credible leads I've got. I follow up on anything that I didn't get to a good conclusion the day before. Then I go into my normal caseload of...
I hate how he phrases that. I just wander into work, check the voicemail, follow up, make some calls, then I get to my normal caseload. What is your normal caseload, and what could you possibly have going on that is more important than the disappearance of a little girl? What? Guys, I think Rapper has worn out his welcome here, and he's been pulling this stuff in other chats. It's distracting. I think that we have been nothing but kind to him, fun for him. So if mods can please we don't have time for that. This case is too important. What we talk about on this channel is too triggering, too important to deal with these people.
Conclusion the day before. Then I go into my normal caseload of any new cases I've got, follow-ups on them.
They've received nearly 2,000 tips.
I will follow up on everything I can to try to bring closure for this.
Self-proclaimed online investigators and social media sleuths have turned this case into a mess of ideas. And tips have come in from everywhere across the U.S. and even overseas. That help, Pruitt says, has led to little more than time wasted.
If these people want to help so much, we always accept applications to certified individuals.
You don't want me to apply. You don't want me to apply. Because I'd have that file on Dan Armstrong's desk every day until he did something. Whether it's about the twisted tea, the vapes, an investigation into a very sketchy relationship between Candace and Hunter, and of course, the disappearance of Summer Wells. Don't even get me going on the fact that the boys were removed and there are no charges. You wouldn't want me in the department.
He says the investigation has led to the continued thought that if Summer is found, it will be nearby.
I believe that she would probably be somewhere close by, because we found nothing to lead us to believe that she's been abducted or trafficked out of the area.
Pruitt works alongside the TBI and FBI. Along with the ground search, Pruitt says investigators have poured through data. Almost a year into the case, and Detective Pruitt says it still remains a very active investigation.
I'm not going to let it go cold.
Well, Detective Pruitt assures that what happened to Summer Wells is still being investigated daily. Tonight at 6, he walks us through each day and what it is like for a case that is like no others for all the investigators involved.
Is it just me, or does Ansley look like she was about to crack up laughing? She was probably like, I cannot believe I just had to hear that. I cannot believe I just had to hear that. Again, I think what Tim is doing is dangerous. We know that Dawn got swatted by the judge back in February for talking about the boys on YouTube. We know that. This wasn't the first time they have been told to quit talking about the boys. Quit doing it. Now we have the media manager using the Find Summer Wells page to blast their names, blast one of their birthdays? On one hand, social media is their biggest enemy. On the other hand, they're trying to get social media to reach out to one of the boys on his birthday. This is dangerous and it's crazy. Oh, Diana, thank you. Diana's making it rain. Welcome to the family. You guys are going to love it here. Thank you so much, Diana. Okay, in part 2, I believe this is the section where he says the CPS case bleeds over into this. Again, what part of that is the media manager not understanding? There's a lot going on here. A lot.
And still no answers.
Tonight, News Channel 11 dives deeper into the disappearance of Hawkins County 6-year-old Summer Wells. For the first time, we have heard from the lead investigator with the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office.
And tonight he tells us what this investigation looks like right now.
Josh and Sarah, the case of Summer Wells does not look much different today than what it did when I first reported live on authorities searching out in Beach Creek back in June of last year. Now, authorities are spending more time than ever before fielding through false tips as well as false hope.
Speaking of false tips and false hope, old Christine 55555555, you know, she's up Daisy's ass, put on her community tab the other day that she called in a tip to the TBI. This was an old post of Jody Sue's from October of 2021. Are you kidding me? False tips, false hopes, false leads. The hell are you doing calling in something from 2 years ago? 555555. What are you doing? Look who is up here. We have Muscles and Mascara, but she's muted.
Hello.
Hello.
How are you?
Good? Was that not groundbreaking over the weekend that Christine 55555555 came across something from October of 2021 and decided to call it into the TBI?
Yeah. Welcome to 2023, right?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Wow. And people wonder why why these things continue to go on. It's just recycled ignorance is what it is. It's really sad. Really sad.
Now, speaking of ignorance, I need your take on this. And by the way, Tim is more than welcome to come on this panel. He is more than welcome. He knows we're doing this show today. He knows that he's invited. He knows that the link is pinned. And I'm sure Muscles wouldn't have any problem talking to him.
No, not at all. Mm-mm.
We're very nice. We don't bite.
Mm-mm.
So what do you think about the craziness that's been on the Find Summer Wells page over the last few days? Do you think something's boiling up because there's a court date next week?
It always happens this way. It's always whenever there's something going on and they have to appear, whatever it is they're having to do, there's always this fuckery that goes on. And it's really disgusting. I've never seen so many adult people go out of their way to create such hysteria over stupid stuff. And Tim with the page, you know, findsummerwells.com, and you said it perfectly, has done everything but help find Summer Wells, period. And it's really disgusting to watch. It's really disgusting. And leave these boys alone. These boys are thriving for the first time ever in their lives. And the fact that somebody would want to interfere with that is absolutely disgusting. I'm sorry. CPS didn't steal their kids. CPS didn't do any of that. CPS took those kids as they should have been took, and they should have been took prior to that.
They should have been taken prior to that.
Yeah.
They deemed Dawn and Candace unfit. This wasn't because of psychics and YouTubers, because then everybody on that hill would have been in protective custody, as they've done in other cases.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Leave the kids alone. I mean, dang, they've got an opportunity for the first time in their life and to try to just continue to deflect everything that's going on around them just to make themselves. There's nothing that you can say that makes Dawn and Candace look like good people. End of story. That is literally the end of the story. Stop.
Literally the end of the story.
Yeah.
And when I saw this post, I'm telling you, it made me livid. Nope, that's ICU's. It was a great post. It's time to bring the boys home. It is insanity to think we can all focus on bringing Summer home or ever getting to see her when the boys are being used as pawns. The boys are safe. Summer's missing.
Yeah. Yeah. It is, what's insanity is that's the way he thinks. That's the insane part of all of this. And Candace sitting in the floor playing with Legos, y'all, really? That's real cute. How many times have she ever sat on the floor and played with Legos with her children? I vote to say 0.
She probably didn't even buy them Legos. Hell, she
No.
gave Summer's toys away to the church. Why? I will never know.
No, she.
Yeah, before we get back to Pruitt, let's look at that again. I want to get Muscle's take on this. How Kathy is telling us just how intellectually disabled Candace is. Seems to me that Kathy was a pawn in Cant's game.
I actually took her to her psychiatric evaluation when they first ordered it, and it was in Knoxville. And at that time, she really hadn't driven on the interstate. You know, she hadn't driven very far, so she was really nervous. So I went with her, and really she didn't even know how to work her GPS. So we get to the doctor's office. I sit down in the chair, and the first thing that she does is sit down on the floor and grabs the Legos and starts playing with Legos. When the doctor came from the back, she opened the door, and she looked at me and she said, "Candace." And I turned and looked at Candace, and I could see shock, actually, in the doctor's face, because she, I think, was looking at me to be Candace, sitting in a chair, waiting to be seen, and then she looks over there, and Candace is sitting on the floor, playing with Legos. Like a child, yes. Do I feel the Lego thing was legit or a ploy to seem off? Okay, no, it wasn't a ploy. That's who she is. That's who she is. That's the level she's on. And, she has never ordered anything offline. She's never written a check. That's why I had to fill out all the papers for her, because she don't know how to do any of that. And that's probably one reason, she don't want to step away from Don, because, he handles it all for her. No matter what it is, he handles it all.
Boo-hoo.
Oh, God almighty. Listen, she drove to damn Arkansas and back by her damn self, Kathy. What happened to that? Boy, she got real smart real quick, huh?
Yeah, she also
she's on work, huh?
She knows how to lie. She knows how to lie, manipulate, prank. She knows how to change her story about her daughter being missing. She knows how to grift for Cash App money on Daisy's channel. Does she not? She understands dollars and cents, because after she spent all that money that hardworking people gave to her, she spent it on Coin Pusher and R&R. Then she complained she didn't have money for dog food and needed more.
Yeah, she can try this insanity ploy all she wants. What does that tell everybody? What does that tell you, Tim? What does that tell you? What does that tell everybody? It tells me she's trying to build a case for whatever she's going to be charged with at some point in time, to say that she was insane or that she's got some freaking screws loose or whatever. Take that crap and cram it up your hind end. Just like Miss Stout could do too. because all that crap means nothing. It means nothing to anyone. And stop trying to build your case. Why are you building a case against for yourself? Are you guilty of something? What are you guilty of, Candace?
Mm-hmm.
That you got to act insane. Give me a break.
Yeah. And why did Kathy insert herself into the case? Which many people have. I don't mean advocating for Summer. I don't mean spreading the word, sharing her flyer, coming on YouTube panels, covering it on your channel, whatever. I mean flat out inserting yourself.
Absolutely.
Kathy did, to the point that she took her for a psychiatric evaluation. Now, who came up with that?
Well, I'd like to see the results of it, and I'd like to see proof that it was a psychiatric evaluation, not her sitting on the floor at Kathy's house making it seem up and it appear that's where she's doing it. Filling out her papers and stuff. Okay, so when she went to the hospital to have children, she was not able to fill out paperwork associated with that? Right. We all believe that too, Kathy. Sure do. Sure do.
It's like when Kathy took her to the rehab. She didn't even make it 24 hours, and she said people in there were inappropriate. This is a woman who's married to Don Wells. How can anyone offend her? She said she felt weird. You know why she felt weird? Because they were giving her medication to dry her out.
Exactly. Exactly. I wonder if she had to get her paperwork filled out for her then too.
Mm-hmm.
But
So
she has a driver's license. She has all this stuff. But now all of a sudden, she needs a psychiatric evaluation. Well, isn't that cute? And I'm not making fun of people that go through that kind of thing. I have a heart for people that go through those kind of things. But I do
100%.
have a real, and I do have a real problem with people who pretend when their ass is on fire right now and they are pretending to have that be an issue and that's their excuse. That's what I do have a problem with.
BD Bluff, thank you for the super sticker, said, first of all, if Candace is so immature and delayed that she's into playing with toys, that house would have had to have had toys. Mm-hmm. She spends her money on alcohol, cigarettes, and most likely drugs, not toys.
No. Give me a break.
It's disgusting. Disgusting. So then Kathy goes and picks her up from the rehab, brings her back to her house. So she knows that she has got somebody living with her minor granddaughter, who she says is her world. Oh, Kathy disappeared, by the way. I don't know what happened to Kathy. Mm-hmm. So she has Candace, who is a serial child abuser and is refusing treatment around her minor granddaughter. Can somebody make this make sense to me?
No.
If Candace showed up at your door, Muscles, would you be like, hey, I have to run out and do some things. Will you watch my son, Candace?
Oh, my Lord, no. No. Good grief, no. No, unlike them, I'm a mother, I'm a parent, I'm a guardian, I'm all those good things because I don't do ignorant crap like they've been getting away with for years. My house is not is my house spotless? No, my house never will be spotless, and I'm sure there's many people on here that say the same thing. But is my house clean? You damn right it is. That's what might make you insane, is that you thought it was a fit place to raise your children in.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah, they don't find anything wrong with it. Oh, we have Trev backstage. Well, hello, Trev. What do you think about what old Timmy, Meteor Manager, has been posting on the Find Summer Wells Facebook page?
It's completely irresponsible and inappropriate. Those aren't his kids. He's got no reason to be posting about them. The parents he's speaking for don't even have custody of the kids right now.
Amen.
And
talking about what school he wants them to go to and all this other. No.
Yeah, Kingsport City Schools. Really? Oh, wow.
Yeah, why Kingsport? Do they even know what school the boys are going to?
They should.
Why give them another big change if they're happy where they're at? again, I mean, I would think those boys would be a nervous wreck. It's not like they can't use the internet. They go to school. They have, I mean, just imagine how wrecked their nerves would be to, one, hear their father say they've been kidnapped. What the hell?
Yeah.
Then this freako media manager is got this campaign on where he's putting out the oldest son's name, telling people to wish him happy birthday. Some of these people are crazy enough to do it. Not you guys, but some people are crazy enough to do it.
Someone needs to remind him that it's the Find Summer Wells page, not the Timmy's Thought Bubble page.
Mm-hmm. Sick. Just sick. What part of an active and ongoing investigation is media manager not understanding?
It's sporadic. One day you might get 5 leads. The next couple of days you might not get anything. But it's been an active investigation that's I've been devoted to since it first occurred.
As Summer's disappearance approaches the 10-month mark, the scenarios of what happened the night of June 15th continue to grow.
The wandering away, sneaking off to go play or whatever she may have done, that is a viable option.
I'm so sick of hearing about the wandering off. And mind you, this is an old interview. He's only given one. The more they keep bringing up the possibility that she just wandered off, the more that the people that know are going to be silent. And Dawn and Candace are going to think they got away with something. Not saying that they did anything. But the more they keep honing that home, I wish we had more tweets like this from the TBI. This was tweeted, is this a criminal investigation? Because that's a word they weren't using at the time. Leslie said, absolutely. Yes, it's a criminal investigation. Foul play has not been ruled out. As a result, the investigation into the circumstances leading to Summer's disappearance remain active and ongoing. Tim needs to read this. The investigation into the circumstances leading to Summer's disappearance remains active and ongoing. They know Summer's missing. They know through the biggest search in Tennessee history they couldn't find her. But what led up to her just vanishing?
If she wandered off, noon probably wouldn't matter. If she was taken at 6:30 or whatever, noon probably wouldn't matter. It's telling that they're looking at earlier in the day.
Yep.
Absolutely.
And I know there's another creator that's saying that the case in New York where Charlotte was found, she said it's just like Summer, just like Summer. We did the show last week where I said these are not, in my opinion, any way similar. For one, you have parents with an airtight timeline that refused to go home because they were searching for their daughter. On the other hand, with Summer Wells, the timeline is sketchy. And they were pissed off because when people were raising money for billboards, Dawn said, just give the money to me. And they didn't go look.
God, this is maddening.
This is the lead investigator saying there is no evidence that she has been trafficked outside the area. No one's going to abduct a child and stay right there in Beach Creek.
And the wandered off theory is such, we're going to have to go back to that for a second too, is such garbage. 2 minutes, according to Candace's timeline, I got to play with Legos in the floor of Kathy's house to make it look like I'm at a psychiatric evaluation. Nonetheless, I digress a little bit. But if she had truly wandered off, she would have been found. I'm sorry. I fully, heartedly believe that with my entire heart that she would have been found. There's not a wandered off theory here. There's just not, in my opinion.
I mean, a swatch of clothing, something. They made it so apparent to everyone. It's mowing season. Check around your property. Tim Coop said himself, there could be evidence hidden on your property. He said evidence.
Yep.
But we don't even know what she was wearing. And the picture that was given to the TBI for the Amber Alert is the wrong picture. If you did come across her, you wouldn't even know it was Summer Wells. Why would they give the wrong picture?
Exactly. From the word go.
Has your son ever wandered off, Muscles?
Nope.
Okay. Yeah, my
Yeah.
kid's gotten out of my sight before, and it was total panic.
Oh, I'm sure. There's no doubt that it would be. I would be in freak mode if it had happened. But and kids do that, you know. I mean, I'm not saying that doesn't happen, but in this case, I will never ever be convinced that Summer wandered off and was not able to get back. I'm sorry. How many times do you think Summer was by herself outside wandering around and she made it back to the house just fine every other time? Don admits that.
Well,
left outside by herself. He admits it himself.
He admits it himself.
We've had 2 kids since in this region go missing, and both
right.
One in Hawkins County and one in a neighborhood.
Exactly right. Yep. Yes, sir.
Just damn crazy. And how come they didn't call the police every other time that they couldn't find her? How come they didn't call the police when their youngest son, they couldn't find him? 2 minutes.
Yep.
2 minutes. They call on June 15th.
Well, and the abduction theory too is even crazier because you send your 3 children down to the creek or wherever you claimed you sent them to, while Candace stands up on top of the bank and watches them and prays that nobody grabs them. Well, you're an idiot if you think that anybody believes there was an abduction just for those freaking words themselves. That you sent your children after to look for her when you knew she was abducted. That makes 0 sense. So you should be in jail for that, for putting your other children at harm's risk.
I agree. And also, Hunter, not to switch gears, Hunter was removed from Allie's custody 2 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
So something's going to have to get moving at some point. I mean, we know the whole Cam and Allie situation. They removed their sons in August, and at the end of September, they slapped charges on them.
Yep.
So what is going on? Because it's time to pay the fiddler. These are your tax dollars, Muscles. These are your tax dollars, Trev. Housing all these kids, feeding these kids, medical, education for parents that just don't give a damn.
Yep. And you know what everybody says, y'all are picking on them. Dude, no, we're not. No, nobody's picking on anybody. You know what? All the things that we talk about and that we say about these parents, or whatever you want to call them, because I don't like to call them parents, but nonetheless, everything that's ever said is from their own mouth. Mm-hmm. Literally, the crap that they've spewed across this internet for 2 years, but we don't have a right to say something against them. Well, you can take that crap and cram it up your butt, because I'm going to stand for what's right. I refuse to back down. I refuse to let this go away. I refuse to let Summer's name be silenced, because that's what happened to her entire life. At her small age of 5 years old, she was never given a chance. And by God, if it's the last thing that the rest of us do, it's giving her a chance. It's giving her brothers a chance. So Tim and Candace and Dawn and all the rest of you out there that wants to say we're spewing hate, no, we're spewing their own words from their own mouth back into their face. It tastes like shit, don't it?
Yep. Shit on a spoon. You got a mother that spends the money that she grifts from Daisy's channel to get drunk and play coin pusher. Within just a couple of days of Summer's disappearance, they said there's no evidence. They're not going to find her. Not even a twinge of hope in Dawn's voice.
No.
Oh, just makes me ill.
The night she went missing, authorities said she walked away from her house. The following day, an Amber Alert was issued.
People are probably tired of hearing this. All possibilities are on the table. We're not completely eliminating the abduction idea, but there's nothing to lead us to believe that we need to focus on that alone.
In the height of the search, those on the ground combed through miles of tough, rugged terrain, leaving many to wonder how there was no trace of little Summer.
She was like 3 foot, 40 pounds. It would be a lot easier for her to get through some of the foliage. And she's lower to the ground, smaller body, a lot more flexible.
Along with the ground search, Pruitt says investigators have poured through data.
We have gone through reams and reams of data. We've collected statements. We've chased down every credible lead that has been given to us. And we are still not much further along than when we started. Surveillance videos, GPS locations, cell phone tracking, cell phone data, electronic data, anything that we could think of to get our hands on.
As time continues to pass since that June day, it's increasingly hard to hold on to hope.
Well, we're 9 months in. I would hope that she is still alive somewhere, but we also have to be open to the idea that that is no longer a possibility.
Pruitt says that he has never worked a case like this with so many different entities involved, and he says it's still baffling that it looks the same as it did that night that Summer was reported missing. Coming up tonight at 11, we learn more about Summer's family's relationship with law enforcement, especially as her father remains jailed and lawyers are now involved.
Ansley.
Yeah. And then that's when he said the CPS case bleeds into this. What is Tim not understanding about that? The CPS case bleeds into this. It could be the other way around. He could have misspoke. Seems to me, if what I'm hearing is correct, CPS and law enforcement are pretty much at a stalemate. They've done their investigation. So it's go time for the DA. Do you think I'm reaching too far?
No, I think you're on it.
Agreed.
It's time for Armstrong to put something together.
He mentioned in his interview this would be something that would have to go in front of a grand jury. So Pruitt says they've combed through reams and reams and reams of data, GPS, the whole 9 yards. Well, I'm wondering if somebody shared that with Don, because as we know, he says he has 7 alibis and Candace has none.
No, I have 7 alibis. I have 7 alibis. Candace ain't going down. She's going down. You were at work. Right? 7 alibis. Candace ain't going down. She's going down. You were at work.
Candace ain't got none. She's going down. But
Yeah,
he still sticks by her.
Hey, yeah, and here's the funny part. Hey, Dawn, if you haven't done anything and there's no crime, or there's none of this, or there's none of that, then why does it matter if you have 47 alibis? How about that? Why does it matter?
Mm-hmm.
Why do you need an alibi, Dawn? Why do you need to brag about having an alibi, Dawn? And why does it matter that Candace doesn't have any and she's going down? I thought you said she was abducted.
Yeah, why would Candace be going down? And why would Candace, we know how these two fight with each other, breaking doors, calling the cops, and she going, I know. Why didn't she say, well, then you're going down with me, buddy? We know how they fight. They're like cats in a pillowcase.
Yeah, it's a fact. Listen, and I know I've said the same things over and over and over again, and I'll continue to say them. I just can't help it. But the fact that they played all these games, but we still have people out here who full-heartedly support them, give them money for them to go around and do absolutely nothing, and watching all these other people do this crazy stuff in the background. Why are we here?
Mm-hmm. Oh, I've got one lady that comes after me hard. all the time. She's like, I just don't think they are master criminals. I just don't think that they did anything. I don't think they're great people. And I'm like, look, I can't say they, because if Dawn was at work all day, Dawn was at work all day. I don't know. I'm not the investigator. I wasn't there. I do know that Candace was. I do know that Grandis was. Then Dawn said on another channel that CPS visited the house the day before the incident at the swimming hole. What incident at the swimming hole?
Well, and supposedly Grandis was with them, but she couldn't even remember what the name of the park was or where they were at or none of that either. So that story to me is crap too, in my opinion.
Grandis Abandis will do anything to keep her name out of this. What little bit of an interview she gave, you could tell, was total deflection to separate herself from what was going on. She has 3 boys in foster care. Not that I think Grandis needs to have any of them, because let's face it, she didn't do well with Candace. How come she never filed for any sort of emergency guardianship to get her grandsons? She has money that comes in every month. She leaves them with strangers. Instead of, hey, Grandma, it's, hey, Bill, hey, Sherry, or who, whatever their names are. She didn't even care. Did not even care.
No, she upped and left early on. And then after coming back for a while, she upped and left permanently.
Okay, for some reason, my chat on StreamYard has froze, so I'm having to look at it on my phone. So if I miss one of your comments, I apologize. I do apologize. All right, in the Facebook group the other day, the Crime Lines and Lies Facebook group, if you want to come into it, come on, just answer the questions. This was a post that one of our friends made. She said, it's really bothering me that Don always says he believes Candace by the way she was acting. He said he just knew because she was so brokenhearted. Well, we know just how good she is at acting. Remember the call with Mary. Now, he is adamant to defend Candace. So we're going to take a little trip down memory lane. Time capsule time. And we're going to go through the phone call with Mary, because it was obvious that Candace had no issue making up this crazy lie with Dawn in the background. And for what? I will never know.
Hello? Hey. Hey. What's going on, Candace? They just took Donnie away. Who did? The boy. They did? How come? Oh, no. Someone Charlie's ringing away. They're flying off to Boston, Massachusetts. They're flying him off to Boston? Yeah. Really? Oh my gosh, Candace. They didn't tell you why? No. So what they do, they just knocked on the door and came in and cuffed him and took him? Yeah.
Yeah, like that's what they do. This is a really interesting comment from Green Eyes. Okay, my chat's going again. Don stated we have good people supporting them, getting the boys back in the CPS case. Somebody's spending money or we wouldn't still be waiting on the mysterious court date. So who is financially supporting? What's going on? Because last I heard, their attorneys wouldn't even return their calls. Do you know, Trev? Any idea?
I don't know. I mean, people on here clearly support and enable them. So Who knows if there's somebody behind the scenes or something that's doing it too. I don't know.
It can just be people in a chat saying, yeah, Don, you should have your boys back, and he considers that support. You never know. Muscle's got a phone call. She'll be back in a minute.
Oh my God. I'm so sorry, Candace. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry. I wish they would have told you the reason why. I'm sorry, they had to take him. Jeannie said again. Oh, really? Wow, Candace, I'm really sorry. I'm so sorry, Candace. Oh my gosh, I'm so sorry, honey. I feel so bad for you. I wish I was there. I wish I could hold you, Candace. He's never given me the kisses long, ever. He's always been the greatest father. Right? Oh my gosh, Candace, I'm so sorry.
You've got to be kidding me. But then she's on WJHL, stoned out of her mind, saying Summer was just gone. She couldn't turn the waterworks on for that? She couldn't be at a press conference to advocate for her missing daughter? She pulls this stunt with Mary? And again, we have Kathy talking about how she took her to the psychological evaluation and she basically had the mind of a child and was playing with Legos. No, she's very manipulative.
Gosh. So you don't think that they're just going to take him for maybe a couple of days and release him? No, I don't think so. You don't think so? Well, whatever Jenny and her friends did. I don't know, Candace. I don't know. They might just take him maybe for a couple of hours. Maybe they're just taking him to question him or something. You know what I mean? Why would I take him all the way to Boston? What? But why would I take him all the way to Boston? This is the question, I don't know. Boston? I don't know. He don't have any ties in Boston that I know of, right? Not that I know of. The only places he's ever been is like Federal. That's all I know. Federal? Huh. Yeah, I don't know, Candace. Oh my goodness. Yeah, I don't know what's going on.
So Lego Player is telling Mary, it's Federal. That's all I know. Well, the feds don't just go knock, knock, and you open the door and they're like, can you turn around? I'm going to cuff you. No. None of this happened. None of this happened. So we're supposed to believe that she has this childlike mind. She can't do anything for herself, but she knows how to orchestrate this insane lie. Any thoughts, Trev?
Yeah, I mean, it should be clear to people that she's manipulative if she can do this. I mean, how does this help? People say she's done things to help find Summer. What is this? How does this help? What does this do?
The minute I heard it, I was like, this is a lie. This doesn't even make sense. Doesn't even make sense. So again, I go back to our comment from our Facebook group. It's really bothering me that Don always says he believes Candace by the way she was acting. Well, we know just how good she is at acting. Remember the call with Mary. Yeah, it's sick.
Oh my gosh, I know. Is your mom coming back? No. She's not? From the Capitol. That's all I know. Wow. Wow, that is just crazy, Candace. That is just crazy. Wow. I'm really sorry to hear that, Candace. God. I can't believe that they didn't, I don't know, they didn't say something to you. You know what I mean? And then, so they said that they were going to take him to Boston. Are you sure they didn't say Utah? Over the Mexican mafia stuff. Oh, right. So do you know anything about that? No, I don't know anything. Wow. Well, did Donnie ever come into some money that you knew about or anything? About $80,000. I don't know. Wow. My goodness. Yeah, that's just really crazy, Cat. He's on over the basement. Wow. Yeah, that's crazy, Candace. I don't understand what's going on, because if they're going to extradite him to Boston, I just don't know why they would do that, you know? Unless... Wow. Yeah. Huh? The drug cartel, is that what you said? They're going to kill him, they're going to hurt him? Yeah. Well, if he's messed up in drugs, Candace, that's not your fault, okay? That's not your fault, Candace, okay? And there's not a lot you can do about that, you know? There's not, you know? I mean, you can stand behind him and be there for him, Candace, you know? But if you... stand behind him. Yeah. You know, and I just... Oh my gosh, I just don't know. I don't know what to tell you, Candace. Do you think he had something to do with Summer's disappearance? In my heart, I don't. In your heart, you don't? No. That's...
In my heart, I don't. Then Dawn's like, in my heart and my brain, I know she was abducted. After every agency has told them there is no evidence of that. Hang on, I gotta sneeze.
Bless you.
Thank you. I know in my heart she was abducted. What part of there is no evidence to show that she was abducted or trafficked out of this area? She's around there somewhere, which goes back to the wandering off theory. But then you wonder about all the different agencies that were searching for her. I mean, a quarter of those agencies found other children fast.
And let's also remember the things Dawn's admitted to doing to the very woman that Candace is sitting here prank calling.
Yep, as if that can't be any more insult to injury. Talk about rubbing salt in a wound. Mm-hmm. Candace knows these allegations. Candace was confronted by Earn the Burn about Dawn talking about showering with Summer, and she said, I'm about to effing go off. I'm about to effing go off. Well, she didn't. She's still with him. She's still with him.
It's because you love him, Candace. He's your husband. You know? But, you know, I just don't know, Candace. I mean, I hate to I don't want to say, he had anything to do with it, but you never know, I heard Donnie say 20 children the mafia cartel children network. Wow. Okay. And they're mad at him. They're very mad at him. Man, he said 20 children out of the mafia, and they're mad at him. Well, that's just great. I don't know, Candace. That's just great.
And you hear Dawn talking in the background. So she's carrying on this charade, this lie, knowing he's standing right there. Now, she knows from there, because I do not believe that Candace is this Dainty Daisy. I don't mean Daisy the creator. Weak flower. I don't know the word. Dawn's clearly leading her on what to say. Mary was probably too spun up to even realize it's Dawn talking in the background. But she carried this out knowing that Mary was in communication with Chris McDonough and that she was going to tell this. And from there, it just blew up in their face. Because the next day they said it's been raining all day, but we're doing yard work. Everything's fine. I'm like, what? So he just got back from Boston all of a sudden? We already know you're lying.
Her phone worked really well for this phone call.
5-bar Candace. 5-bar Candace if she wants to do something. But if it's to get help for her children, nope, no signal.
I don't know what to tell you. I'm really sorry. I feel really bad for you, Candace. So your mom don't plan on coming back, huh? No. Oh my God. It's just great. Oh my goodness sakes. That's so great. Oh, is that because of what came out today on YouTube? I don't know. I don't watch it. I don't watch it. Right, yeah, you don't watch them.
She said, I don't know. I don't watch none of that. Hell you don't. The hell you don't.
I don't know. I was seeing something today, and I don't know. It was showing messages between two people. And so I don't know if that's the reason or not. You know, I know I hope my kids back. Well, Candace, I'm sure you're going to get your kids back. If you didn't have anything to do with this, and Donnie did, you will get your kids back, Candace, okay? Don't worry about that, because you will get your kids back. They will find they will help you, Candace. They will find a safe place for you, and you will get your kids back. I don't know anything about Donnie or whatever went on with the cartel, but I don't know anything about that. I've never heard about it. Right. Yeah, I know you don't, Candace, and that's what I'm saying. You know, don't try not to worry about it, because you will, and you'll get your kids back. So try not to worry about that, okay? Just because they took Donnie don't mean that you won't get your kids back, okay? Are you okay? I guess you're not, are you? Right. Yeah. Yep. I can't. Hurry, please. Right. You need to calm down and, I don't know, smoke a cigarette and just sit there and calm down, Candace. You know, try not, I know it's hard, but try not to worry, okay? Guys tried to say 27, and they're killing him. They're trying to kill him. Wow, I didn't know that. He didn't say anything to me, Candace. Yeah, Candace, he hasn't said nothing to me, so I don't know what's going on. I mean, I did read about that, about him owing money to people, but I just thought it was just another rumor, you know? It's top secret, I guess. Well, yeah, that's just crappy. Candace, oh, I'm really sorry, Candace, to hear that they took him. I know, Candace, right?
I'm glad Mary said to her, if you have nothing to do with Summer's disappearance, and Donnie did, then you'll get your kids back. Well, here we are, way past 2 years of Summer's disappearance, way past 2 years of the boys being taken by CPS, and they're still playing their games. And I'm not taking up for Daisy here, but she needs to understand she's a pawn in their game. She is being manipulated by Can't. These scrapbooks and all this stuff that she's making, that's all for show. She didn't make a scrapbook before. Why is she doing it now? Why? She is manipulating the hell out of Daisy. And for those of you that don't know, that strike that Daisy put on me, YouTube took back, and she has what's called a false strike on her. The only reason she sent that strike is because she was mortified that another creator recorded what she said to Brandy Neal and the nastiness that she allowed Dawn to say to Brandy Neal. Absolutely crazy. Barb, thank you for the super sticker. Barb says Tim has power. Cher didn't want to anger him. I don't see how Tim has any power.
I bet you've been going crazy. I mean, I'm sure of it, you know, and don't worry about your boys, because your boys are safe, you know, and try not to worry about Summer, because she's out there. I believe she's still out there, okay? I don't know. I wish I knew. Candace, I wish I knew where she was. But I believe that she's still out there, and she's going to find her way home. You know, and try not to worry about your boys, okay? Because they're safe right now. Your boys are good where they're at, and you will get your boys back.
Okay, Snow has a question. I invited Holly to come up, but she has a meeting in a minute. Snow said, do they have court this month? My understanding is they have court next week. According to Dawn, this has to do with child support. But considering Tim's erratic posts, And the things that Dawn has been saying on YouTube, I think there's a little more to it. Do you know anything about it, Trev?
Nothing for certain. All these things are super sealed, so it's just one of those things where it's rumors and what you hear from different people.
Yeah, from the parents themselves.
Yeah.
And their representative, who I think should be respecting the gag order. Hell, he was telling people one of the son's birthdays, telling people to wish him happy birthday. We've seen some crazies on the internets. The internets, I sound like another creator. On the internet. We've seen some crazies out there. You really want to give them that child's birthday and encourage them to reach out? And who knows? Supposedly Dawn is totally done with YouTube. We've heard it before, but I have a feeling we're going to hear from him soon.
You know, so try not to worry about that, okay? They flew to Boston and quit his cell phone, and they're beating him. They're beating Donnie up. The cops are beating Donnie up? Is that what you said? Yeah. Wow. Well, I don't think they're gonna beat him up, Candace. I think they probably. I think they just want to pull him in and talk to him, Candace. I'll bet you 10 to 1. I'll bet you 10 to 1. They're just gonna pull him in and talk to him and release him. Okay? I'll bet they are. Huh? I don't think they are. I'll bet you they do. I'll bet you they're just going to pull him in and talk to him about the rumors that are going on around. And then why would he be going to Boston? That don't make no sense. No, that don't make sense, does it? But they could have just been saying that. You know, they could have just been saying that, Candace. I'll bet you 10 to 1 that they're probably just going to pull him in and just talk to him and find out what these rumors are going around, okay? They're torturing him. I don't think they will, Candace.
They're torturing him. They're beating him up. None of this happened. None of this happened. Dawn was in the house. Dawn was right there with her. Dawn was right there with her. The Real Rockin' Robin said Timmy needs to be careful. TBI and FBI are investigating him as well. What did Timmy download from his pal Donnie's phone? I've always wanted to know. Why would he download anything out of anyone's phone before returning it to Candace? That is ridiculous. What gives him the right? It makes absolutely no sense. Now, Timmy Boy himself, and we're not going to go through all of it because it's a lot. This is on his channel. Talks about how he got involved with the Summer Wells case. And it's nuts.
Well, it all started like everybody else. Saw it in the paper. Heard it on the news. Somewhere. Everybody had a thought. I had a thought. So the next week I drove out to see where this place was when I found out it was pretty close. Not really in Rogersville at all. Takes as long to get to Rogersville from Ben Hill as it does to get to pretty much Johnson City. from Kingsport, so not real sure how Rogersville got their name on that area. It's on the south side of Bays Mountain, which is actually kind of two mountains that come together. If you look at it from the sky, two ridges, it's really one, but it's just the way it's worked itself out. With the reservoir that was made in the middle. That's Bays Mountain right there. East to west was Cherokee territory. Settlers, Daniel Boone's, Davy Crockett's, all the names that we've heard. That's what this area historically has always been a pretty special spot. Actually, what I'm on is Long Island. It's an island in the middle of the river, runs a few miles, and it is was the second most important part to the Cherokees property. It's where they came all the way from way west, Chattanooga, way down that way. Came here, have their peace treaties, and so this was very sacred territory. It's now sacred baseball territory, but part of it is still owned by the Cherokees. So we drove on out to Ben Hill. To get some shots, get a feel for the place, for the news.
Okay, so he says he came across the case the same way many people did. The news, he saw the newspaper, heard it on the news, not sure where. Don Wells told me himself that he has known Tim for years. They go way back. Don told me that. Not saying Don is Honest Abe, but he said that in passing to me. Tim has slipped up before saying that he's known him. Now, Lone Wolf came across a picture, and hopefully he finds it, and it's a picture of Tim and Don together, I would say like back in the 90s or something is what it looks like. So they've known each other a long time. Any thoughts on that, Trev?
I mean, it wouldn't surprise me. Why get this close to Don in the case if, you never knew him?
And he's given the title of media manager because he supposedly came across Candace at a parade. And thank you so much to Nicey Marie. Justice is coming for Summer. The Wells and Tim is getting desperate. We love you, Summer. Sad your fun day turning into going missing. Yeah. Thank you, Nicey, very much.
The Kingsport.me, free media. And that was my first taste of that area. I'd been through there, but been a long time. Didn't really remember it at all. So like everyone, the terrain stood out very obviously. And I just parked down on the main road there, looking up toward the house, the ridges, creeks.
He loves putting that watermark on everything. Welcome, Brandy. Good morning, honey buns. Let's all take a second and tell Brandy Neal good morning. Good morning. It feels like Monday to me, but it's Tuesday. So if you saw earlier in the video, it was modified in June 22nd of 2021. Make it make sense, Trev. He said he didn't meet them until the parade in July.
He met them in June and July and in August and January. I mean, just all the months.
He knew him before. He knew him before.
just getting a feel for it, and just could not possibly see how that little girl would have just run off. And that's why I said, from my experience with having sisters and nieces, they're pretty set on what they do until you say horses or puppy dogs. Some even like kittens. It's usually something like that, and that's got their attention. They love them. They love those.
So he's saying a puppy dog, a kitten, or a horse got Summer's attention and she wandered off. But now he's saying abduction. Now, according to Dawn, there was no dogs home that day. I guess they all were in the Bahamas. But Candace complained that when the canines showed up on the property, she had to put the dogs up. It can't be both.
And they would scurry off if there was something nearby, but that was just a thought out of my mind. I knew absolutely nothing about any of it. Zero. All I knew was the location, courtesy GPS and looking at it on Google Earth. Then being there in person and just trying to get a feel for it. And it's an odd feeling. Just standing there on the side of Beach Creek, looking down at the little creek. It was small. Looking at the hillsides. The police were there at the time, so I just kind of stayed in that area to try to just see what I felt. And then I drove some of the loops, the roads that head more north, do some loop through some gorgeous land. And just thought, where in the world would you look? Came back around Beach Creek more in the west and then headed back toward Ben Hill. And when I got there, the police were gone.
This is creeping me the hell out just in time for Halloween. Good God. He reached out to the family of Michael Vaughn. Brandy's in here right now. Brandy's like, you give me an odd feeling. Why was he reaching out to them to be their media manager? Seems like they do just fine on their own.
Yeah, I would rather Stevie Wonder drive my Uber than Tim be my media manager.
You heard it right here, folks. Trev said he would rather have Stevie Wonder drive his Uber than Tim be the media manager. It's weird. It's creepy. And, well, he's lying. They knew each other before.
So I thought, well, let's just go down Ben Hill. So I went down Ben Hill, saw the home box number 110, and looked up the driveway up the woods a little. It's real green. It was mid-June, so actually the second week. I mean, it was the week after it occurred, so June 15 had about a week to that. Went on up Ben Hill as far as I felt that I should. It was obvious I know these counties and these backwoods and roads, and there is a privacy factor there. And I knew there'd been a lot of media, so I didn't want to disturb the neighbors too much. So I just went to a certain spot and then turned around. Then came back, just slowly looking at the landscape again. And it just would leave you without words. There was too much. I'd already seen men, women searching the hills. I'd seen them out in the fields, very carefully searching the fields with it. They were cutting the first cut of the season, I think.
Is anyone picking up on all his contradictions? We were told by Tim himself, that he met them at the parade. The parade is in July, correct, Trev?
Yes, I believe so.
Okay, but this video was edited June 22nd of 2021, and Dawn has said that him and Tim have known each other for years. Matter of fact, Where Summer and myself were on the phone with Dawn, where Summer was about to kill me because she hates hearing his voice, and he told us him and Tim go way back. Brandy said, we work with law enforcement. They are our support with the media. Well, who'd have thunk it? Isn't that the way you should do things when you're looking for your child? Work with law enforcement. That's the only way.
Yeah, notice how they never said they're not cooperating, because they're at the press conferences. They're in touch with law enforcement. See how simple that is?
They're on first name basis.
Where they make their bales of hay for the animals and stuff. But they had to have people in the front, either in walking or like a golf cart or something, four-wheeler, searching the ground first before they brought the big, like a combine that cut. And just watching that was pretty tender, because you realize the impact of such a small little person not seeing him in the grass and then hitting him with a tractor, pulling a grass cutter. Not exactly what you would want to have happened. Still, you can't, it's hard to get the words. But they did.
Yeah, now he's putting it in our mind that a combine or a tractor could have ran over Summer. There would be evidence of that. Okay, so we have a lot of contradictions here. And of course, this social media campaign that he has had rolling out, this is the media manager, as Candace calls him, to where he's saying, he's talking about their boys that were taken by CPS. They were not kidnapped. Dawn and Candace were deemed unfit. So why all the lies? Would it be a crime to say, yeah, Dawn, I've known Dawn a long time. I heard that his daughter was missing and I showed up on the 15th. Why all the lies? Why make this video from the parade where he says, and then I came across the mother. The mother. I stood in awe of the mother. I stood in awe of the mother. This video was edited on June 22nd, 2021. He admits to being there on the 15th. Why not just say, I heard this little girl was missing. I've known Dawn a long time. Why all the lies? Someone's going to have to help me with this. Why all the lies?
Yeah, exactly. Why not tell the truth? But how many of them have told the truth? This whole thing has been based off inconsistencies and lies. And for someone who hates YouTube so much, he sure likes being on there. But
they blame YouTube for everything. Everything is YouTube or CPS's fault in their world. Not their drug addictions. Not the way they've treated their children. Not their coin pusher addiction. Absolutely crazy.
That, and then also saw trucks coming out, pickups pulling just loads of men on the back that had been searching. You could tell just tired, drained. I mean, searching is like exhausting. It's not like running through a field, which is tiring. This is just constant leg work, body work, emotion work, eye work. Never been up here. Let's see what this is. Oh, a drain pond of some sort. It's one of the big factories over there, Domtar. They're rebuilding. This is all still part of Long Island. Very famous. Used to have big plantations after the settlers came in. And all sorts. The original, not just the settlers, but then the founding individuals that came in this area. Things didn't always go good with our Native American friends. A lot of them realized they needed to, work with this new civilization that dwarfed theirs. But you had some naturally, some of those that felt like they shouldn't yield to this new society. You got to remember, they took some of these Indian chiefs kindly to Europe.
I agree with Beth. I don't need a history lesson from Tim. He's supposed to be talking about summer. Again, we have the Find Summer Wells page on Facebook. It's not even about summer. Talk about how the Indians were treated in Tennessee. What the hell does that have to do with anything? And he's changing history. He doesn't even know what he's talking about. He's like, and here we have a drainage pond of some sort. What are you alluding to, Tim? Where were you all day on June 15th of 2021? You said yourself, Dawn is your human boss. You said yourself, you would do anything for Dawn. You even put something up saying if anybody wants to pay to hear about Dawn's history, that you would set it up.
He told me I inserted myself in the case, and that makes me a suspect. I would like to know what we would call all this. I would say this is inserting yourself in the case.
Yeah, whether you know him or not. You can support your friends and not mess with law enforcement. We heard earlier from WJHL saying we have a lot of false tips, false leads that come in. Another creator over the weekend, 55555555, turned in a tip from October of 2021.
And let's recall what TBI said. Moving forward, we ask the public not to submit tips as a result of video you have viewed on YouTube or a theory you've seen posted on Facebook. Please help us. Only call if you have direct, specific information about the disappearance of Summer.
Just makes me sick. And all of these posts that he has been putting out over the last few days are dangerous. Beeb Bluff said she was told multiple times it was turned in already.
Of course it was. It's like 2 years old.
Yeah. Yep. Yep. Absolutely. And we got to see this stunning couple. This was posted. Don's got his cell phone in his pocket because, you know, he's an important person. We're not sure if this is where Candace works or not. I don't really care. I really hope nobody's calling this place of employment, not because I care about Candace's bread and butter money, but because, well, there's other people that work there that shouldn't be bothered by any of this.
Agreed.
So why they're posting all of these lovey-dovey pictures, if you want to call it that, this is just like I said, next week they have another court hearing. Seems to me they're trying to look like normal, loving people. I think someone's getting hopped up for next week. All right. Let's go through what Dawn said on Summer's 2-year disappearance.
Issued 2 years ago to find Summer Wells is still active. Good evening, I'm Sarah Diamond.
I'm Josh Smith. Despite nationwide attention received by her disappearance, there are still no answers as to what happened to the little girl.
Oh, shut the front door. Trev, did you see this?
No.
Detective 55555555 said last night that Hawkins County wasn't on the case anymore, only TBI and FBI. How many times have you had to explain this and someone is not getting the memo? I don't mean anybody around here because we all know that we're cool around here. How can Hawkins County be kicked off the case?
They can't. The way cases work here is a local agency opens the investigation or the case, whatever you want to call it, in any kind of situation. And if they need assistance from the TBI, the district attorney of that said jurisdiction calls TBI and asks for their help. So Hawkins County opened the investigation that night into Summer's disappearance. And then Dan Armstrong called TBI and asked for their assistance in investigating the disappearance.
Now, where is she getting her information? See, again, this is dangerous behavior and it does not help Summer at all. The boys are fine. I'm sure their life, they were dealt a bad deck of cards. We get that. But they're safe. They have food. They're going to school. They're playing sports. I know at least one of them have said they don't want to go back. Now, that's just according to Dawn and Candace. Summer is missing. Why are these people trying to trip up the investigation to find out what happened to her?
Because some people think that they know more than law enforcement and that they'll solve this by putting out whatever, just saying whatever they think. And we don't know what law enforcement has, but we know they've investigated it. And tired of hearing, well, they're not doing enough, or they haven't talked to all these people, or have they even talked to this neighbor, or have they looked into this? If your tip is 2 years old, they probably looked into it. If the person lives anywhere near the wells, they probably talked to them. And if you thought of the theory, they probably did too.
Yeah. Now, if you want to send something that the parents themselves have said, I imagine they'd want to hear that because law enforcement wants to keep suspects talking. But old posts of Jody Sue's don't need to be sent to the TBI.
girl. The most significant recent development came yesterday when an age-progressed image was released showing what Summer could look like now at the age of 7. That's the photo on the left of your screen.
Summer was 5 when she disappeared. The Tennessee Bureau of Investigation says there are no new details they can publicly release. But we have team coverage tonight. Clarice Shaley is at a vigil to help find Summer and honor other missing people.
But first, we'll go to Ansley Daniel, who spoke with Don Wells, Summer's father. Ansley, you've been tracking this case from the start.
Yeah, Josh and Sarah, here we are 2 years later. Still,
You know, I bet their advertisers' buttholes pucker the minute they find out the lead story is Dawn. Could you just imagine if you had the local car dealership in East Tennessee and you're spending your advertising dollars on Dawn? Goodness.
still trying to find out what happened to Summer. And tonight, her father is seeking some answers of his own.
I'm just having to put my faith completely in God and know that He has a better plan. And that's pretty much where I'm at. My wife is still struggling.
A lot has changed for the Wells family over the last 2 years since their daughter Summer went missing from their Beach Creek home in Hawkins County.
Social media have come out, you know, and protested at my job, everywhere we go. And so it's hard for us to get any work or anything in Eastern Tennessee.
Wells says he and his wife Candace have been in Arkansas on and off for the last few months, where he's...
Now, I will never forget when they actually let the cameras in when the judge was talking to them about the CPS case. Look at Candace. The lights are on, but nobody is home. Just look at that face. She is so detached from what is going on.
He's been working in construction. He also says they've been working with the Department of Children's Services there to get their 3 older sons back. They've been in Tennessee DCS custody since the month after Summer was reported missing.
I think they're scared of our house because of what happened. Is one of the issues, you know.
Okay, Dawn, that actually makes sense. That actually makes sense. I think they're scared of our house because of what happened. That actually makes sense. Your daughter vanished, disappeared, evaporated. The TBI they're saying we cannot rule out foul play. Maybe that's the reason they're not going to return the boys.
So we would like to buy another house here in Arkansas.
The house he's referring to on Ben Hill Road is where his daughter went missing from.
We couldn't understand what happened to Summer. The police couldn't understand, and they were questioning us. At times they were hard on us, and other times they weren't. Just depending on, you know, what police agency was there at the time.
2 years later, he and Candace have no clues as to where Summer is.
We try to bounce things off of each other all the time. We might have talks about, you know, some of the drug activity that was going on at the time and was going on right after her disappearance for quite a while.
Well, what drug activity was going on at the time? In your own house, or are these the phantom meth dealers that you kept saying were on your property? What do you think, Trev?
I just don't know how people are so aware of the exact drug activity in the area. I don't know where drugs are sold where I live. You know why? Because I don't buy any.
Yeah.
And I don't know what they do in their time. I'm not saying they do or don't, but my point is how are you so aware of drug activity?
Yeah, I couldn't tell you around here because I don't run in those circles. I don't run in those circles. I don't know.
It's not like we get a map of it. Like, if there's no registry for drug dealers, I don't know how we're supposed to know where they are.
Yeah. It's not like I can Well, we don't have the yellow pages anymore and look under drug dealer. No. He's like, the drug activity that was going on at the time. What are you talking about? Drug dealers don't want kids. When they say, oh, they were sold for a drug debt. Yeah, no, I just don't see it.
But yeah, there's nothing new.
Dawn says the family stays in touch with law enforcement through their private investigators.
About 2 months ago, they talked to our private investigators.
Okay, so they're not talking to law enforcement. He says our private investigators, which I believe were set up by Cam and Allie, talked to law enforcement 2 months ago. This was in June. So their private investigator spoke to law enforcement in April. So you sat there for 2 months without any update? Does that make any sense?
I don't know why you use a middleman. Why not just talk to them directly?
Yeah, just show up. I remembered something from the day. I know you guys keep asking about Candace's timeline. She did remember something. The PI situation is sus to me.
And the FBI did, and they shared what they could with us. But they're just trying to come up with any new information or leads that they possibly could. And so far, we just haven't been able to come up with anything.
As 2 years pass with no new information publicly released, Dawn says the emotional toll is weighing on the family, especially Candace.
She's been burnt by so many people that want to, supposedly, interview her or help and stuff, and then basically turn on her in every imaginable way. She's been hurt deeply by these kind of things, plus the thought of, we lost our daughter, and, our boys are in custody also with the CPS.
He says they haven't been able to talk to their sons.
Well, at first we were allowed to talk to them and everything, but we haven't been able to talk to them for about 6 months, no contact or anything like that. And that's all we want to do, is be able to tell them that we love them.
Well, the reason they lost contact is because, according to Dawn, Candace called to talk to the boys, and the person overseeing their care said she was drunk off her ass. And we know what Candace is like when she's had a little too much of the brown liquid. She's not a happy drunk. She's not the, oh, I love you. She's not that one. She's mean. But Dawn said she wasn't drunk. He said her stroke was acting up. I'm not a doctor. I'm not a nurse. But I don't think your stroke can just act up. Either she was drunk off her ass and being mean. Well, I assume that's exactly what happened.
And we're rooting for them, and we're working on, things to get them back.
Hope is hard to hold on to after all this time, but Dawn says he's clinging to faith.
Whatever the outcome is, I have hope in God, and one day, either sooner or later, I will be with my daughter again.
I've reached out to the Hawkins County Sheriff's Office, the TBI, the FBI, and the Wells family's private investigators. They all declined an interview, but the TBI did answer some questions via email. Those answers, however, don't bring us any closer to knowing what happened to Summer. Josh, Sarah?
No, they just keep saying the same thing. The circumstances leading up to Summer's disappearance are still being investigated. Still being investigated. What is this you just sent me, Trev?
It's an older link, but it's still on the Find Summer Wells page that the website Tim runs, and it's a funnel for tips through the PI.
Well, again, I believe this is a huge problem. I'm going to put it up right now. This is from September 29th, 2021. Secondary email for fact-based tips to find Summer through PI. We have many true friends that are helping us. A hired professional private investigation company has set up an extra tip email. We heard some people are afraid or nervous to contact the TBI or FBI type organizations. The PI company will eliminate spam and related, then send all tips as a middleman to the TBI. This is the secondary email address. Then it says no one associated to the website will see the tips. All tips with this email go straight to the PI company, then go to TBI, Tennessee Bureau of Investigation. This is only for real tips based on facts. No speculation, visions, or those kinds of tips. Also see our contacts page for all contacts, including the TBI information. TBI is the #1 tip contact. Or you may use this one to the middleman private investigation company. You've got to be kidding me.
And notice it says it was updated in 2022, January 15th.
Yes, I saw that.
So it was even later than he updated again after it was originally out. But I mean, what the heck?
That is wrong on so many levels. Even if the private investigator is former law enforcement, they understand the chain of command. They understand how dangerous this is. The only people that should be contacting this email, which is probably a non-working email at this point, is Daisy and 55555555. This is ridiculous. Why would you want to delay your own child's case? Absolutely sick. That makes me so damn mad.
And if you go to their website, it's still up at the top. It's not like I had to dig. If you go to the Find Summer Wells page, it has follow our blog, tips email, which is what that takes you to if you click it. That's like the second thing up there.
Mm-hmm. Wiz said, meanwhile, Summer is out there all alone. She's somewhere. People don't evaporate. She's somewhere.
Everyone is somewhere. That's why we have to keep looking. We saw that with him. They weren't even looking for her, and she was found.
Nothing is on the DA's desk. No one is in jail. No one is associated. There's no updates from the media or law enforcement. And then some people have the gall to get mad that we keep her name out. Doesn't make any sense. Now, don't you have some stuff coming up soon, Trevor? I was really busy this weekend, but I thought I saw something that you're going to something and you're going to bring a banner for Summer.
Yes, we were out this past weekend, and then we're going to be probably back out in Bristol over the weekend, and then the Greenville Farmers Market, which is a big a big deal there. I'll be out there giving out flyers and having the banner up. And then we're still working with the airport to get permitted to be in there to hand out flyers. That's a whole process, understandably, with airport security, but we're able to work with them to hopefully get a permit to be allowed in there to hand out flyers.
And Brandy is somebody that obviously knows, and she said, hell no, I would be fighting that BS like no other. What in the actual, because people were on Brandy and Tyler about getting a private investigator, and they're like, no, we're working with law enforcement. We're working with law enforcement. And here on their website, they're saying you can email these PIs at Cam and Allie, who have felony child abuse charges against them now, set up for the Wells. You can send your tips over there.
Yeah, and they wouldn't need that if they spoke to law enforcement the same way other families do, if they went to press conferences and stood by law enforcement.
Makes me so damn mad.
If you're honest, law enforcement wants to work with you. I mean, I don't know how people don't see this. Like, if you are telling the truth and you're working to help your child, then they'll work with you. They're not going to. I mean, I don't understand how people don't see what the truth is versus the clouded, manipulated truth we've been given.
Well, and I have a feeling that if Pruitt received a phone call from Dawn, Candace, or Grandis today, he would take that call. But they're like, oh, it's through our PIs. It's through our PIs.
Why have a middleman? Even if everybody is in it for the right reason, having a middleman just creates a chance that something gets lost. What if a tip gets sent to them and they somehow miss it? I don't know, somebody's sick and they don't open that email that day and they miss a tip. I mean, TBI has people there to see their tip line all the time. This is their job.
It's monitored 24/7.
And it's not just one person. I imagine there are plenty of people who can see that tip line, would be my guess. And so that would be a much safer avenue of submitting tips.
Sick. And it's absolutely sick what their media manager is doing now. For some reason, he wants the discussion off of Summer and on to the boys, to the point where he gave out one of the boys' birthday. That inflamed me. If I was Dawn and Candace, I would have been pissed. But they're all for it. They don't care. Did they take any birthday gifts to the social worker to get to their son? I doubt it. I know they can't show up there themselves. He's interfering, and I think it's because next week they're not looking forward to it. Makes me ill. Makes me ill. So we have Trev's link here in the chat. Go subscribe to Trev. We put Bob's link in here. Go subscribe to Bob. I didn't really put Tim's link in here, but he's very easy to find on YouTube. It's it's a little creepy. It's a little creepy. Little creepy, don't you think, Trev?
Yeah. And just none of it makes sense. Like I said, you have why have a middleman? You know, why go through anybody for tips? Why have a media manager? Why just not speak for yourself to law enforcement or to the media? Why have somebody between both of those things?
Good point. Seems to me it's control of information.
Yeah, and it's almost like they want to have a barrier between them and the media and them and law enforcement. Why have that barrier? Why not be the one who is like, hey, can I please have an interview? Or, hey, can I talk to you guys at law enforcement?
100%. Wouldn't you want your own answers and ask your own questions? We know through the telephone game, if you want to call it that, a lot of stuff gets lost in translation.
Yeah.
If I talk to you, Trev, and I repeat it to Muscles and Mascara, I'm going to lose some of the context of what you said. I mean, it's not deliberate. It's just how things happen.
Yeah. And that's like I said, even if the PI, doesn't have to be that they're doing anything nefarious, but what happens if they get an email and they're busy or something and that sits in that little tip email and it's not checked and they miss out on a tip? That's why I would say just send it straight to law enforcement, because they are paid and have people who check these tip lines and can get the people that are on the case directly on the tip as soon as they need to. It's just logical. It's the best thing for Summer, which is what everybody should want.
Yeah, because the boys aren't missing. Summer's missing. So for Tim to say this is insanity, that people are pulling for Summer to be found and not for the boys to be returned, I don't call that insanity, if that's just me. That's just my opinion.
No, of course not. Summer's missing and the boys aren't. They're safe. They're somewhere where they're monitored. People know where they are. They're being taken care of. We don't know where Summer is. That's the focus. Where is Summer Wells? That's been the focus since June 15th, 2021, and it will be the focus until she's found and anybody responsible is held accountable. It's simple.
Exactly. Well, my friend Trev, thank you for coming up today. Muscles and Mascara had to go take a work phone call. Work gets in the way of our conversations sometimes, but it happens. So I want to say thank you to Muscles for coming up. Thank you to our amazing mods, the mod squad, because I know we had some people trying to distract the chat today. Wonder why? Never know. And of course, to all of you, thank you so much for the donations to the channel. Thank you to the new members. Thank you for the gifted memberships. You guys were making me blush today. Oh, we lost Trev. And let's have a round of applause for Muscles and Mascara and Trev. They have a lot of passion for this case. It's right in their backyard. And as we know, they're not going to stop. All right, y'all strangers, as Candace says. Get up here, y'all stranger. If I don't see you over in Discord today, one of the Facebook groups, then I will see you back here tomorrow at 9 a.m. So be there or be square. Same place, same time, 9 a.m. Central Time. You guys are the absolute best. Sorry for the distractions we had in here. Some people just can't learn, but that's all right. That's all right. They don't have much fun because we just don't give them any attention. So you have a great rest of your Tuesday, and I'll see you around.